My, my friends, I'm here again because I want to, one thing, I laugh at myself because I got so much experience, so much wisdom in me for all the years I've been in bodybuilding. And I remember when I started training and how they frowned upon us. We trained, my friends, we trained for health, to build our bodies. We weren't trained we weren't training to walk around and showcase ourselves because we were scorned. They looked upon us as freaks, the different kind of freaks, but they frowned upon bodybuilding when we were training. We trained, my friends, for health. That's what we trained for. And of course, we want to build our bodies in the pursuit of health. Today, these guys don't even relate it to health. They relate to getting as freaky as possible. And my friends, I tell you, I feel distressed about it because a lot of my friends that were heavy on steroids are dead. Their hearts go, their kidneys go, their joints go, because steroids were not designed to do what bodybuilders are doing with it. They're using massive doses of these steroids, and then they export it, my friends. And that's what hurts me. So they export it to the up-and-coming guys that think that you can't build a body without steroids. I get emails from young fellas damning me saying I use steroids and I'm lying. All they have to do, instead of thinking that anybody with a big arm has to use steroids, is just compare my muscle density to the steroid boys. And you see immediately the difference. They got more veins, they got more size, they got more cuts than we would ever have because it's not being done naturally. But I'll tell you, my friends, the price to pay is death. The price to pay is when you get older, you come apart. I mean, none of these guys right now that are drowning themselves in steroids will reach my age. None of them. Because they haven't done it already. The guys that eat the drugs now are more potent than they ever were. And the guys that were using them during my era, well, not my era because my era was cut short because of my severe accident in the motorcycle. But these guys, it breaks my heart. Guys that I really knew, Serge Newbray, Olivia, Sergio, I know all these guys. They get their hearts go on them, quadruple bypass. It's just pitiful. Training was not to destroy you, it was to build you. And yeah, you look good visually, but you're tearing yourself apart. And I see these guys trying to equate heavy steroid use with not overtraining. Of course, the intensity which you can train is so much more when you take steroids. Of course, that's the whole purpose. But bodybuilders are the ones that get me to know it, are more annoyed because they're the ones that's abusing it. They don't test for steroids at bodybuilders because they're afraid they lose their audience. The people that go to bodybuilding contests go to see the freaky guys. And you can't get freaky unless you massive dose on steroids. Now I can understand. Now, look at the baseball players, the runners, and the football players that use steroids. You don't see them huge, but they use it. It does increase your endurance. It does increase your strength. But they're using it more moderately, bodybuilders. Bodybuilding is not a sport. I know it hurts you. It's not. It's non-competitive. These guys build their bodies so they can strut around and say, look at me. But that's the only purpose it has. They don't compete. It's a beauty contest. No, it's not really a beauty contest. My good friend and mentor, Joe Weider, that produced all the muscle magazines, he tried to get bodybuilding into the Olympics, and they wouldn't take it. They say it's not a sport. It's not competitive. Where's the competition? There's no competition. The competition is visual. That's like a beauty contest. My problem with steroids, and that's what hurts me, because a lot of people think bodybuilding is a sport. It's not. Exercise is not a sport. That's not knocking it, because my life was, I just loved it. But I loved it for, I loved growing bigger. I loved the feeling of health and strength. I loved that. I I wasn't into what these guys are doing. They wouldn't care if they dropped dead tomorrow. The arm got a little bigger. And what is fine, you can be in that niche. But don't export this to the kids that are searching to build their bodies. Don't export this, please. It just hurts me that these guys exporting this as the way to go. And these kids coming in looking for steroids, thinking some magic. You still have to work your ass off, and you still got to build a foundation. And then, my friends, why? What for? Why are you taking these drugs? What is your goal? If your goal is to be with the state-of-the-art supplements they have today, which they didn't have in the old days, you guys can build a fantastic body that's pleasant to the eye without taking all these drugs and shortening your life. Train to build your body, not to destroy it. And in the end, these guys, everything, you know, you may say, oh, he's old school. Let me tell you something, my friend. I graduated all the way up. I know what's happening. I spoke to the guy. My heart is broken with some of the guys that I enjoyed and spoke to and had fun with. They're gone. Their bodies just to give out. It was not designed. I see these guys strutting around. Hey, look, it's amazing to look at, but they don't. You can see it. Some of these guys, they get out of breath. They got the body is fighting. It's not designed for the way they use it. Steroids is beautiful. Thousands of people's lives have been saved with steroids, but moderation. Bodybuilders are abusing it, and then they're using it to say, I'm an example of training. No, they're not, because everybody will use steroids, and everybody don't want to look like them. It's a niche. I mean, this guy shows almost 22 inches. Hey, so what? 21-inch arm. The only reason I brag about it, because the first man in the world to do it, drug-free. Other than that, what does it mean? Nothing. So that's why I'm telling you, bodybuilding is not a sport, and I want you, I'm not sitting here putting down these guys with the steroids. I just don't like the idea they're exporting it. When I was a teenager, I was hungry to find out anything that would help me to get bigger. These kids, they don't know. And these guys are saying you cannot overtrain and all that kind of insanity. Of course not with steroids. Everybody else overtrains, but they can't. Overtraining is a fact. And anybody that tells you it isn't, don't know what they're talking about, and they don't have the experience. So I'm saying, remember, when you train, it is not a sport. It's personal. These guys get like this so they can stand in front of the mirror and feel good about themselves. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But don't export it because it cannot be exported. Exercise, and just think of it, exercise is a sport. Well, bodybuilding is exercise, and it's there, and it's personal. There's no competition in body, and weightlifting is more of a sport. They have weightlifting in the Olympics because it's competitive. You're competing with somebody where you can measure. If I can lift 300 pounds, and they only can lift 200 pounds, I'm better, or 250. But in bodybuilding, how do you determine who's who? You get a guy like Dorian Yates, a tremendous bodybuilder. He's very sick, you know, physically. He had a huge body, but it was not beautiful. Like somebody slapped him muscles out. So now, what is the purpose? You know, hey, nothing wrong with that. But don't export, don't sell it to the kids. That's my take on it. You know, to be continued.